म स्टार्ट गरिदिन्छु है Good afternoon. As Mero2Paisa, I'm so happy to welcome a friend, also a contemporary भन्छु म किनभने म एक यो podcast चाहिँ कहाँबाट स्टार्ट गर्न चाहन्छु भने at one point I was doing a search online to see if anybody was engaged in entrepreneurship like I was. This was probably back in 2013-14, no? And just a quick search somehow landed me to, I don't know, Venture Plus ko magazine ko page ma or somewhere, and then I found out about Amun Thapa. And ke गरिरहेको छ भनेर मैले Sastodeal को site पनि enter गरेको मलाई याद छ. I remember seeing the first product that I thought I should buy, which was the lanterns. Okay? We were planning an event very soon, launch of our kitchen, and this would be good भनेर म अलिकति यसो browse पनि गरेँ. And coincidentally, soon after that, we met as well. I think this was back in 2013. As a podcast, say what we've decided is Amun र मेरो journey almost parallel is a time को हिसाबले काम एउटै उस्तै नभए पनि र त्यो भित्रका चाहिँ दुईटा lessons हुन सक्छ. एउटा चाहिँ starting up and scaling up. So यो भित्र बसेर आजको podcast start गरौँ. Amun, welcome to Mero2Paisa.
Thanks for having me here, Aashish. And just to get back to when we met for the first time, I remember it was a batti. Yeah, Putal Sadagma, we met at a batti and Cha Khaira and Golf Koida the first time. And now 7 years forward, I'm so happy you have like your own coffee chain. It's a cafe chain, you know? Yeah. That's what you call. And 5 of them now?
6 of them total.
6 of them, and you're a Manang Mapansa. I'm so happy, you know, like it takes me back to that day. I mean, Pattima was at Khaira, you're doing so good. I'm so happy for you, man.
And another thing was, I was also looking for like US बाट फर्केको त्यो आई थिङ्क मेरो सर्च टर्म त्यस्तै केही थियो कि र मलाई के त्यतिखेर चाहिँ याद छ भने त्यो म जस्तो अरू कोही छ त बाहिर भन्ने पनि मलाई त्यति नलेज थिएन. आई वुड सिट इन माई क्याफे डु माई ओन थिङ एन्ड आई थिङ्क अन्टरप्रेन्योरसिप र त्यो बज पनि थिएन होइन. वी वान्ट रियली द टक अफ द टाउन ब्याक देन भन्छु. अलिकति बिचमा अलिकति यो चेन्ज भयो फर द गुड.
Entrepreneurship was so new. अहिले जस्तो त्यस्तो popular थिएन. In fact, त्यतिखेरसम्म I think parents wanted their kids to become doctor engineers. Although it has completely turned around like entrepreneur because it's become the thing. So I think 6 years, a lot has changed. A lot has changed.
And at the time when you started, त्यो टाइममा अनलाइन बिजनेस भनेर सोच्दाखेरि त एकदमै ठुलै आँट गर्नुपर्ने स्थिति थियो किनभने I remember I started a t-shirt ko website as well, Dignity भन्ने चलाएको थिएँ. जस्ट यहाँको शिपिङ पेमेन्ट गेटवेको कुराहरू देखेर मैले नि युएसमा चाहिँ सानो eBay स्टोर चलाउँथेँ. I sold some jewelry and watches and those kind of things. So I guess somehow I ended up reading about you somewhere. र त्यतिखेर चाहिँ आई थिङ्क अनिलसँग पनि मेट्रो तरकारीसँग पनि हामी कुरा गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ वी टक्ड अबाउट यु आई गेस. र त्यतिखेर अनलाइन सप भनेर आउँदाखेरि फर्स्ट नेम योर कम्पनीज नेम वुड पप अप. र हाउ हेज दिस जर्नी फ्रम 2012-13 को टाइम इन्सेप्सनदेखि अहिलेसम्म इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चर कतिको चेन्ज भएको छ? क्यान यु ड्वेल अ लिटिल बिट अन द्याट?
I mean, to start out with, I mean, when we started, internet penetration in Nepal was just 11%. Imagine, it's an entire country, 11% people had access to internet. Now it's close to 65% now. You know? So when we had to start out with the small group of people, and त्यहाँ e-commerce it was like a nightmare. So whenever I used to go to shops and then I बेच्नु online बाट हैन हाँसेर पठाइदिन्थ्यो. यस्तो पनि हुन्छ online बाट पनि बेच्छ.
लिस्टिङ गर्न.
Yeah, and धेरैले त online के हो नि सोध्नु. So I had to, you know, like एउटा ठाउँमा 1 घण्टा बिताउमा online बनायो त्यो यसरी गर्न मिल्छ. And very few people in fact wanted to even experiment with it, you know. अहिले the tables have turned around. अहिले people come to me. In fact, the best brands in Nepal, they come to us saying, we have this exclusive. Yeah, so I mean, online has become the platform for products. And so अहिले to see 6-7 वर्षमा यस्तरी चेन्ज हुनेछ अनि या luck their involvement छ, infrastructure धेरै चेन्ज भएको छ. And it's not just the e-commerce companies that have worked so hard. In fact, e-commerce भनेको चाहिँ it's just a part. The entire ecosystem, first must start out with entrepreneurs like you and me and so many others. So we've come back and यहीँ बसेको entrepreneurs and they've taken that risk despite their parents saying no and all that, and he started their businesses. So एउटा entrepreneurship को एउटा ecosystem start भयो. Then came ecosystem around e-commerce and the payment ko, logistic ko, internet ko, from 11% to 63%. Somebody had to work really hard to get that done, you know? So I'm pretty sure it was not the government. So companies like Whirling, Subisu, and so we curse a lot about Subisu, but they worked very hard, you know. So
the infrastructure for the growth.
yeah, and all these companies, they've changed people's lives. And then so जहिले पनि म एउटा कुरा भन्छु कि बिजनेस र अन्टरप्रेन्योरमा बिजनेसम्यान र अन्टरप्रेन्योरमा के डिफरेन्स छ भनेर आई गेट द्याट क्वेसन अ लट अनि सिम्पल एन्सर इज बिजनेसम्यान चाहिँ नि उनीहरूको फर्स्ट इन्टेन्सन इज टु मेक प्रफिट राइट पैसा बाहेक अरू मलाई के पनि चाहिँदैन तर अन्टरप्रेन्योर भनेर चाहिँ नि द फर्स्ट मोटिभ इज टु चेन्ज पिपल्स लाइफ्स right? You want to make a difference. Yeah, you want to make a difference. You want to live behind a legacy. You want to change generations to come. And second money, it's always money, you know. So that's the main difference. And that is what we're seeing right now. And I'm so happy, the way, and so not just this industry, every other industry is moving forward aggressively in Nepal. Like next 10 years, Nepal will be a completely different nation.
Yeah. And even at that time when we started, अलिकति रिस्कको कुरा गर्दाखेरि पनि त्यो समय त्यतिखेर अझै नेपाल बन्दहरू भइ नै रहेथे लोड सेडिङको इस्यु स्टिल प्रिभलेन्ट थियो म अहिले बारम्बार पडकास्टमा के भनिरहन्छु भने यस्तो उपयुक्त टाइम त कहिले पनि भएको थिएन स्टार्टअप्सहरूको लागि नेपालमा किनभने वी हेभ इलेक्ट्रिसिटी नाउ वी हेभ एटलिस्ट अ स्टेबल गभर्मेन्ट फर नाउ हामीले वी क्यान लुक तिमीले भने जस्तै वी क्यान लुक राइट एन्ड लेफ्ट वी क्यान सी गुड थिङ्स ह्यापनिङ अल्सो त्यो स्टार्टिङ फेजमा चाहिँ देयर वाज सो मच रिस्क र अनलाइन स्टार्ट गर्नुको रिजन चाहिँ के लाइक डिड यु स्टडी आइटी द्याट्स वाइ यु वान्टेड टु चुज अ फिल्ड द्याट इन्भल्भ आइटी ओर
So just like you, म चाहिँ अब त्यही bachelor's पछि I came back without a thought, you know. So मेरो plan honestly was to spend few years here and figure out what to do. So यहाँ आउने बित्तिकै the first week मै what I figured out was मलाई जुत्ता किन्नु थियो. सो जुत्ता किन्दा चाहिँ अब साथीलाई त सोध्छ नि होइन लाइक कहाँ पाउँछ कसले न्यू रोड कसले भाटपट्टि कसले कहाँ सो आई डिड द्याट हुन्छ नि सो न्यू रोड गएँ त्यहाँ हेरेँ त्यहाँ 2-3 घन्टा गयो फेरि जौलाखेल गयो फेरि भाटपट्टि गयो सो आई स्पेन्ड एन एन्टायर डे लुकिङ फर अ पेयर अफ सुज एन्ड आई फाउन्ड नन हुन्छ नि एन्ड देन द्याट नाइट हुन्छ नि थट केम टु माई माइन्ड मलाई एउटा जुत्ता किन्न यस्तो गाह्रो छ मान्छेलाई मोजा किन्नु पर्ला टी सर्ट किन्नु पर्ला के किन्नु पर्ला अनि सबैजना दिनभरि बिताउने हो त यसरी अनि इज द्याट द रियालिटी अनि द एन्सर वाज सरप्राइजिङली यस नेपालमा हुन्छ नि काठमाडौँमा बस्ने मान्छेले दिन बिताउनुपर्छ एउटा सामानको फेरि प्लस नेगोसिएट गर ऊ गर दुनियाँ ह्यासल छ नि देन द एन्सर वाज भेरी सिम्पल हुन्छ नि अब ब्याक इन स्टेट्स यु नो लाइक कि होइन इट्स सो इजी हुन्छ नि लाइक यु वान बाई सेल एनिथिङ यु डोन्ट ह्याभ टु वर्क आउट द डोर होइन सो आई थट इनिसियली इट वुड बी भेरी इजी टु ब्रिङ द्याट कन्सेप्ट ब्याक होम तर later on I figured out concept ल्याउनु त सजिलो छ काम गर्न त या
मार्केट मैले सुरुमा स्टार्ट गर्दाखेरि आई क्यान थिङ्क द्याट आई वाज कम्प्लिटली इजिली म आई थिङ्क फर्स्ट अडप्टर्स मध्येमै पर्छु त्यो एटलिस्ट जसले चाहिँ अनलाइन एक्सपिरियन्स पनि गरिसकेको थियो लाइक यु मेन्सन आई सोल्ड थिङ्स एन्ड मेरो लास्ट नाइट आएको अर्डर्सहरू all I had to do was leave it outside my door for the postman to come pick it up. It's already labeled. Everything's done. By 2 o'clock, I would be done with the day. So त्यो देखेर आएको मान्छे मैले नि यहाँ टी सर्टहरू बेच्न कोसिस गरेँ बाहिर पठाउन कोसिस गरेँ आई सो द्याट द सिस्टम वाज हामी पोस्ट अफिस जाँदाखेरि अहिले पनि त्यो लाल मोहर लगाएर कपडाले बेरेर आई वाज डम फाउन्ड लाइक हाउ फार हामीले कति धेरै डेभलप गर्न बाँकी छ यो र म एउटा कार्यक्रममा पनि गएको थिएँ र I think it was sponsored by some policy group or something, and a lot of NGOs were there, and big people were there. And one person asked me, like, Nepalma ke development चाहिन्छ, just say one. Anil Chitrakar दाइ हुनुहुन्थ्यो. मैले चाहिँ नेपालमा डिएचएल र फेडेक्स चाहिन्छ भनेको थिएँ कि त्यो टाइममा नट इभन द अहिले मलाई रिलेट गर्दैन मेरो भन्नुको औचित्य चाहिँ के थियो भने यस्ता साना साना चिजहरू चाहिँ डेभलप भइदियो भने चाहिँ देन पिपल क्यान डु देयर ओन बिजनेस सामान लिस्टिङ गरेर बेच्न सक्छ इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चर थिएन सो यु सी द मार्केट ग्रोइङ राइट नाउ अहिले चाहिँ अनलाइन युजर्स बढ्यो 65% पुग्यो भन्यो एन्ड इज इट मुभिङ इभन फर्दर
Yeah, I mean, the e-commerce industry itself is huge. And so when a lot of people, when they think of an e-commerce, you're a website, and it's so easy to build one. So a funny question is, I mean, it's not a funny question, it's a genuine question, but it looks funny to me. Because a lot of people ask me, website बनाउन कति लिन्छ? अनि मैले हुन्छ नि अलिकति sarcastically के भन्छ नि बन्द त 1000 रुपैयाँ पनि बन्छ 1 करोड पनि बन्दैन हैन and that's the fact हुन्छ नि so e-commerce it's a very complex industry हुन्छ नि there's a lot of technology innovation for me I'm competing with Alibaba group you know so they have world's best technology out there you know the best in human resource and all that so जे गर्दा नि पुग्दैन but it doesn't mean it doesn't give you the right to compete. And so Nepalma the good thing that's happening is people talk a lot about Daraz versus Sastodeal, Patha versus Tutal, all this multinational coming, and what happens to the industry? One day just kill you, or one day just move you aside.
It's already popping up in
yeah.
my head, that question.
Yeah, okay. So the answer to that is no, man. In fact, it's gonna grow the industry,
The size of the
Yeah, I mean, before Daraz came in, this industry made me lazy. Like, paisa, there's good money. I remember we started from a small garage. एउटा 2000 रुपैयाँ रेन्ट तिर्थ्यो सानो गराजमा 2-3 भाँचेको कुर्सी थियो एकजना दाइ हुनुहुन्थ्यो 50 रुपैयाँमा रिपेयर गर्ने महिनै पछि ऊ आफै आउँथ्यो सो द्याट वाज हाउ वी गट स्टार्टेड तर आई रिमेम्बर पहिला यति धेरै पैसा हुन्थ्यो कि इनिसियली बिकज देयर इज नो कम्पिटिसन इट वाज अ ब्लू ओसन अनि त्यो अब खासमा अकाउन्टिङ सकाउनु पनि राम्ररी गर्दैन थियो ड्रवरकोले हजारको बिट्टा हुन्थ्यो होइन छेउमा एलिस भन्ने रेस्टुरेन्ट थियो त्यहाँ गयो खायो बस्यो सो द्याट वाज हाउ वी गट स्टार्टेड होइन सो इट वाज इनिसियली इट वाज भेरी इजी फर अस अनि त्यसले गर्दा 2014 सम्म चाहिँ आई एक्चुली गट लेजी हुन्छ नि लाइक देयर इज नो कम्पिटिसन टु से अनि तर वेन दराज केम इन आई थिङ्क 2014 तिर होला 14-15 तिर अनि दे केम विथ केमु भन्ने कम्पनी एन्ड देन दे रियली स्टार्टेड टु पुश मी कि देयर लाइक हुन्छ नि गेटिङ डिल्स अवे फ्रम मी या अनि पहिला हुन्छ नि अल दिस बिग ब्रान्ड्स युज टु कम टु मी बिकज दे हेभ नो अदर प्लेसेस टु गो अनि अब त नाउ देयर इज केमु होइन पिपल युज टु ब्रान्ड्स युज टु गो देयर नाउ दे हेभ अ चोइस and slowly and slowly people used to go there. Now customers went there, you know. So now it's become very challenging. And then came Otara, then came Daraz, even bigger player. Now they're like, they're spending crores and crores in marketing. They're hiring, I think, 300 people around that, you know. Our office is state of the art. So it's not that I envy them. I actually want them to be like that. But the market they've created for us. And something that we could not do maybe.
Now I guess it's up to the players to get into the field and claim as much of the market share they can.
It's just like if you're a football player, are you satisfied playing C division? Like, okay, you're the best player in C division, or you want to be the mediocre player in the A division and try to be the best there. So I think it's always best, good for you to be in the A division. So that's what multinational company or even best companies locally do for you. And recently मैले देखेको Tutal versus Patha हुन्छ नि Patha मार्केटमा देखेको भनेको like it's just been 5-6 months होइन तर in 6 months they've challenged Tutal in such a great extent कि now Tutal, I'm pretty sure now they're trying to be very aggressive, you know, and they will be. And the moment they will be, and the moment these two giants they fight, and that's good for the customer. The industry will rapidly grow. Okay?
I had heard a quote. I think it was Shark Tank. One of the investors that said, "There's always somebody that's there to eat your lunch." So I think competition, I mean, the industry that I'm in as well is one popping up every week. So it just, I think, I feel like up to par राख्नलाई, complacent नहुनलाई. So I think मलाई पनि सोच्छ कति मान्छेले दाइ स्टारबक्स आउँछ नेपालमा I was like म के गर्ने I'm so focused in my work that it doesn't bother me. Eventually the number of espresso machines jati sell भयो the size of the market grows as well, more coffee drinkers. So म चाहिँ त्यसरी नै हेरिरहेको छु the same way you look at it as well. Let's go back to the early days. Like one of the biggest challenges आज बिहान म अर्को एकजना साथीसँग नि बसेको थिएँ एन्टरप्रेन्योर र एउटा the key challenge has been for a lot of us HR. Finding talent, finding the right mindset in the youngsters, plus एउटा junior trends हाम्रो कि we tend to become like transitional jobs, not places to build a career or take it forward. I have maybe 1 or 2 exceptions now after 7 years that have started from a trainee to all the way अहिले हाम्रो म्यानेजमेन्टमा हेल्प गरिरहेको छ भाइहरू they finished their graduation. How challenging has it been for you, especially यो त टेक्निकल फिल्ड पनि भयो?
सो त्यसमा चाहिँ नि आई हेभ अब हामीभन्दा अगाडि आउने बिजनेसेस टु ब्लेम फर होइन किनभने एउटा इम्प्लोइलाई द वे चाहिँ अहिले फर आवर पडकास्ट हामी ट्रेडिसनल बिजनेस भनौँ द वे दे ट्रिट द इम्प्लोइज इट्स लाइक हुन्छ नि यु I pay them and I expect work. And that's not how it goes. It should be more like a partnership. Okay? So when you look at a traditional institute like a bank, and people are walking in there in a tie and a suit, and they clock in. Yeah, they clock in, and they're always watching the clock. They want to go out. And it should not be that way. And I always tell this to my employees. Okay? You spend the most time in your life at a workplace. होइन दिनमा 10 घन्टा काममा हुन्छ 8 घन्टा सुत्छ बाँकी के नै गर्छ र होइन सो 10 घन्टा इफ यु स्पेन्डिङ इन अ वर्क प्लेस It should not be work. It should be your life, So I'm completely in the psychology. We have to completely turn around and make it a partnership. This is a place for that person to learn and grow, and to make his career, and for us to gain out of his time and effort and skill. So त्यसले गर्दा एउटा एकदमै crucial part also is investment on them. So a lot of companies, what I see,
calling them human asset, but actually treating them like an asset.
As a partner. So एउटा कुरा दुईटा कुरा मैले अलि differently गर्छ हाम्रो कम्पनीमा चाहिँ नि. So एउटा चाहिँ नि, when we say investment, we really invest हुन्छ नि. Like, because if they are good, then your company is good. So a lot of companies के हुन्छ, like the CEOs, they always travel, right? You always find the CEOs and then traveling महिनामा 15 दिन त बाहिरै हुन्छ, and they feel so proud of it. And then I say stupid. And then, you don't have to travel. Let your team travel. If your managers, they're supposed to be in those conferences, they're supposed to be meeting people and making their own network. And you're not supposed to do that. You've already done it. That's why you're a CEO. So एउटा कुरा चेन्ज गर्नु चाहिँ let other people travel and be exposed. सेकेन्डमा चाहिँ नि एउटा हाम्रो कम्पनीमा ESOP भन्ने सुरु गरेको छ. So equity option. So नेपालमा इज भेरी रेयर हुन्छ नि. इनफ्याक्ट very few lawyers that I talk to understand ESOP भनेको के भनेर. So what I mean by ESOP is कुनै पनि इम्प्लोइले 5 वर्ष आफ्नो हुन्छ नि करियरको टाइम कम्पनीमा दियो भने आफ्टर द्याट 5 year period उसको राम्ररी पर्फर्मेन्सहरू इभ्यालुएट गरेपछि you should actually give him equity. You should, because उसले 5 वर्ष आफ्नो हुन्छ नि early days उसले commit गरेको छ, and he's helped your company हुन्छ नि go from this level to that level. So that person deserves an equity. So that is very transparent in our company. हुन्छ नि यो कहिले पाउँछ sweat equity. Yeah. So ESOP, exactly, technical word ESOप हुन्छ नि. So investment is there, ESOP is there, and third मा चाहिँ नि like responsibilities are के अरू कम्पनीमा what I've noticed is people अब CEO लेभलमा they fear, अनि उनीहरूको मुनिको मान्छे they fear कि there's a lot of office politics, right? They fear कि information दियो भने पनि this person will learn a lot, अनि मलाई उछिनेर ऊ जान्छ, this and that. त्यो कल्चर आउन दिनै भएन inside a company हुन्छ नि. So हाम्रो कम्पनीमा information sharing is very, I mean, it's a very transparent company. Even an intern who comes there can understand what's happening, aside from few other information. So to transparency maintain and everybody feels responsible and everybody is mission oriented. And why I'm saying this is a practical example is, I mean, I can be very open and honest in saying despite the fact that Daraz, they pay like almost 3 times more the salary, despite the fact that the office looks like a hotel, एकजना पनि मेरो इम्प्लोइ त्यहाँ गएको छैन, एक्स इम्प्लोइजहरू पनि एकजना पनि I cannot say that, but एकजना नि गएको छैन. You know why? Because हाम्रो कम्पनीमा they're so mission oriented, they feel so responsible, and त्यो different खालको एउटा responsibility आउँछ के. Yeah, and you just don't pay and buy someone's time के. You actually make them a partner. So that should be
it's more about the employees being engaged, and in my case as well, like most of my team that management level what I try to pass on to them is that is the same feeling, is that I'm not going on this journey alone. If I grow, you are going with me, and the way I live also relays that. I don't have a flamboyant lifestyle, or they see that I'm putting in as much work as they are. It may be in a different field than they are doing. So as उनीहरूले नै काम गरेको कारणले हामी यहाँ बस्न सकिरहेको छौँ and discuss about this. So I appreciate that as well.
So Aashish, tell me about हुन्छ नि अब RedMud को. I'm so curious कि अब तिमीले when we started and it happened so quickly कि यहाँ देख्छ फेरि त्यहाँ देख्छ अनि फेरि झम्सिकल to expand गर्ने, is it that easy कि के?
No. This last 2 years has been all these 7 years have been tough, but this has been a different level of tough because being a small shop owner and maybe up to 2 shops, I was thoroughly engrossed in the day-to-day of the shop, and that's a different ball game compared to scaling up. Now I have 75 people to manage, and infrastructures, supply chains. So just getting those things sorted out, I think having the funds to grow helped us kind of accelerate a little bit. Made a lot of mistakes when you once you go 2 years, but then we tried a bunch of different business models as well. With now we have data, all those things. So I think the first leg of growth, अलिकति एम्बिसियस पनि थियो र in some ways like I was challenged during Rockstart, like you're talking about 2-3 shops. We're getting like big foreign investors coming in to listen to your pitch. At least you should talk about at least like 15-20 or real scale.
I find that a lot of people have very small vision. They say people want to open up once. It's not. I mean, 1 store, 100 stores, and then you're opening up a store. But I think so's the heady. Like, why are you thinking just 1 store? Okay? People want to open up. I made a friend, a Medicity hospital खोल्न छ नि त्यसको अगाडि चाहिँ नि she wanted to open up a shop. I was like chain खोल्ने plan गर like बुटोलमा खोल्छु काठमाडौँ खोल्छु yeah dream अहिले सोच्दै बेला त what's wrong सोच न.
I think we call that a Sauji syndrome here. I mean, you become a Sauji, and once you become Sauji, you are so comfortable in that Sauji zone that your ambition is capped. मलाई पनि I think त्यो रोगले छोइसकेको थियो. But then just having exposure with a foreign investor, going through the accelerator program, people challenging me. Plus, I just wanted to ask, because this was my first round of investment, not ask a ridiculous sum of money and not be able to deliver on my promise. So I just wanted to have that sweet spot. I keep sharing my 7 season Shark Tank here, just to do case studies of like each individual business, how people negotiate, and asking the wrong amount when it can be. I think that just because I remember it was the wine guy who didn't take the deal and went and actually grew the company exponentially. So the shark lost on that. They were really draining this guy down, and he had a genuine business that was going for him. I forgot Copa Divino or something. Portable wine ko concept hai usko, and there was a wine expert, Kevin O'Reilly, of course. You are dead to me. So everybody wrote him off, and this guy goes out, grows this company even further, and just to rub it in their face, comes back to pitch again at Shark Tank. So I just love that guy, his tenacity. And then he comes back again and still denies that, doesn't take the deal. He just came back to rub it off on them that I did 100 million to say.
Wow, man.
You guys lost big time on it. So that was one episode I remember. Let's talk about fundraising, Abba. Since we picked that subject. You've also you've gone through round 2 as well.
Yeah.
So I'm following suit. I'm trying to get there. मलाई पनि धेरै आउने क्वेसन चाहिँ जसले भेट्यो नि त्यही हो कि दाइ इन्भेस्टरले केमा पैसा हाल्छ. So let's talk a little bit. How did you land your first investment? And
so before that, I mean, to let your audience know, नेपालमा चाहिँ नि there's this culture is कि लोन लिने. अनि what I know for a fact is अहिले एकदमै धेरै प्यारेन्ट्सहरू बिजनेस गर्न डराउन चाहिँ in their generation bank loan was the only option. That was the only option, अनि के गर्छ अब you have to put a collateral अनि अब fact says 99% of the business they fail within the first 1 year, something like that. नेपालमा त it's 99.9% होला, So obviously a lot of businesses failed, they lost their homes, lands, and त्यो generation मान्छेहरूले plenty of examples देखे कि. So whenever I go to colleges and I ask people, how many of you want to be an entrepreneur, almost 80-90% they raise their hand. And they have brilliant ideas and capital, and their parents won't let them do it. So to example, it's a wrong example because the option was different. So right now, one thing I want to let your audience know is bank loan is a big no-no, Unless and until you're a very seasoned entrepreneur, you have got backups and you know how to make money out of money and pay that interest on top of it. So unless that is the case, don't take loan. There's so many other options. And like you and me, the first option is equity. So equity, let's start with equity, equity options. So when we started Sastodeal, so I come from a marketing background. So I had this idea to start and a big dream. But I just had 50,000 rupees in my bank, I asked people who would build a website. 3 lakh, 4 lakh rupiah भन्थ्यो एउटा वेबसाइट बनाउनु. So I was like, no way I can make that. And so instead of giving hope, so I tried to figure out a way around. So मलाई किन चाहिन्छ त्यो पैसा? That was the first question. So obviously website बनाउन को चाहिन्छ? Coder and a designer. Then I started looking for them. अब 5 वर्ष US मा बसेपछि and a lot of my friends were there. I barely knew few people here. So I went on a very painful journey of, like identifying a good designer and a coder. Finally, उनीहरूलाई भेटाएँ. अब उनीहरू पनि फ्रिलान्सर्सहरू बानी अब उनीहरूले कहिले सुनेको छैन स्वेट इक्विटीको बारे कि So I had to convince them हुन्छ नि like यस्तो हुन्छ. Yeah, and this is our dream. 5 years down the line, this is gonna happen. I'm not gonna pay you. They're like,
I think we're doing that right now in this second startup. You did it in your first.
they're like, you're not gonna pay me. I said, no, I'm not gonna pay you. So they came back 2 weeks down the line. They discussed and they said, okay, we're ready to experiment with you. Great. Until today, I still have both of them with me. So amazing designer, amazing coder. So they started building the website for me. And then I started going out to the market, begging for deals and whatnot. So I used to write my own content. Photo पनि आफ्नै खिच्न गएको छ, फेरि order app आफै.
We sat in RedMud Thaptali and we made a deal there, and then you walked off. It was the early days of Sastodeal.
Exactly. Content आफै लेख्नु पर्थ्यो, upload गऱ्यो, फेरि order app आफै कुद्यो, आफै phone उठायो. So it is रमाइलो. That is very fun and hardworking days. So that is always an option. So whenever you want to start a business, that I'm letting your audience know, okay, always ask why, why do you need the money for, and then if it's HR, which usually is the case, then you can always find people who can work for you as a team, and that's the best option. Don't be greedy. You don't need 100% of the business.
That is a misconception I see, is they think that just holding on to that 100% is, I think having 10% of something that's grown, and त्यो चाहिँ मैले धेरै misconception मैले देखाएको छु बाहिर कि few people have asked me, and then when I tell them the share that I own, they're surprised in some ways as well, because as you go around. So अगाडि, how did you meet your first investor from?
Okay, so
that's how you found your co-founders.
Yeah, so that's how I founded my co-founders, and initially जुन अलिकति traction gain गरेपछि मैले angel investors नि उठायो पैसा यता. Yeah, friends and family, to get started.
Friends, family, first.
Yeah, these are the people who blindly trust you. Yeah, you should always go after them. Even first few deals, I remember the first deal, and I'm always so thankful to this guy, Dipesh Galle भन्ने हुनुहुन्छ.
I know.
Yeah, a lot. He's very popular. So उसको लाखे उहाँको लाखे भन्ने restaurant थियो. A very popular restaurant back then. He did not need Sastodealको business, but when I went there, he was so willing to help. He was like, "Ke चाहिन्छ buy this, that," and he offered discounts to our customers.
Really angel investor.
Yeah, I mean, he was the first one who gave us the deal, so I'm always thankful. So त्यसरी raise भयो, and then पछि गएर 2016 मा चाहिँ, so when the company started to be very popular, then investors come to you. Okay? So number one thing I always tell students that I visit and you want to be entrepreneurs or startup entrepreneurs is first you build a brand, because there are like thousands and thousands of companies and very limited people who have money to invest.
Yeah.
So why would they invest on you, or why would even someone consider you unless you have a good brand? So branding is very important. Like RedMud भन्ने बित्तिकै, I'm pretty sure 60-70% of people in Nepal or elsewhere, they've heard or seen or have had their coffee in there.
Created a little bit of a buzz.
Yeah, so you need to create that brand. And my wife is starting. Yeah, exactly. So my wife, she started on a company called Khalisisi. That's what Khalisisi is trying to do, not to make money right away. She's trying to build a good brand that people are aware of. So same to do with Sastodeal. So when we built a good brand, people came to us. In fact, we had the option to choose investors. And investors, one suggestion is always choose a strategic investor. Once again, if there is someone who's just gonna give you money and write you a check, don't take that. Always be looking what after that, and the money will always dry out. So मैले चाहिँ कुन investor? Yeah, exactly. So the first investors that came to us was Televentures भन्ने. So these people, they owned Colors Mobile, and they were the distributors for Gioni. So they were into trading and mobile businesses. So why work with them? Why take their money? Number one, I always knew e-commerce or smartphone, they were very much aligned. Yeah, so 70% of my traffic comes from a mobile device. So to tie up with the mobile brand.
The app I have on my mobile.
Yeah.
Among the few ones.
Okay. So to tie up with the mobile brand, I always knew I could get that kind of synergy and extra value out of them, which I haven't until today. So second, just last year we got funds from Doma. So we're the first local FDI in e-commerce. So Doma Impact Fund, it's I think Nepal one of the biggest and the first equity from. And so we did a pitch, and they liked the idea. Although e-commerce, it's very vague. E-commerce, you're representing the entire industry. There's logistics, there's payment, there's everything. And so you really have to, whenever you go for a pitch, you really have to know what you're talking about, like few points, blah, 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 and you have to convince that. a lot of people think कि investment or investors, they go through a checklist. No, it's not that. And people usually look into your eyes, straight into you.
How much did they believe?
Yeah, your passion. And I remember, I think I talked to one of your investors a long time back, and I asked, so what do you like about RedMud and Aashish? And that guy gave me a very good answer, which was, I liked Aashish.
Yeah.
I liked his passion.
I truly believe in that right now because, if looking back, just adding to this point is, I've also said, हाम्रो Q&A पनि एउटा गर्यो अस्ति हामीले त्यसमा पनि मैले के भने people invest in people because, is this the right team and the right person to execute this plan? That's what they're looking at, I think. एउटा financial institutionले त्यसलाई अर्कै तरिकाले हेर्ला. That's why when you say select the right investor, then if somebody strategic like that comes in who is giving you freedom to grow, to explore, plus also make a few mistakes, because they know, I think they're entrepreneurs themselves, त्यस्तो खालको investorहरू, so they want to see that trait in the person they want to invest in as well. मलाई पनि कहिलेकाहीँ लाग्छ कि like, why did I get the investment? Because I remember walking into that room with 10 companies and everybody's like really well educated and I felt like the underdog there. But I think it was my drive and dedication, honesty. If I didn't know something, I didn't know something. Like the question that somebody posed was, why not 30 stores, Aashish, or why not 20 stores? Because you have a big opportunity here. Because I know the next 3 exactly kahan ho. I can put it pin the map and I'll show you that I'll open it here, here and here. And 2 I already did. So I wasn't successful in one of the locations, but exactly as planned, execute boy. So I think they look for somebody that has a plan, has conviction, and then they write the check, I think. डोल्मासँग आइपुग्नुजेलसम्म चाहिँ round 1 investment both. So like, is the partnership growing, and besides money, has the partner added any additional value like technology transfer or chizaru?
So it also depends on you. And so again, coming back to transparency is very important. Okay? So what I've seen other companies do is they want to create a bridge between investors and you, and the bridge, why? Because you want to treat investors as investors and company as company. But I don't do that. And so I don't know if it's the right thing to do or not, but I like to break that wall.
Yeah, I also protest.
Yeah. And just before coming to this meeting, I was with one of my investors, but I don't. Mendimangu investor bhanne na aउँदैन, okay? He's my friend.
Yeah.
Talk like that. Yeah. So it's. I mean, we go to like clubs. We go to Friday nights. Go to answer. So like, if you treat them as friend, although they're investors, then keeps it. I mean, what is, and I was like, there's nothing to lie. If your business is doing good, it's doing good. It's not, and if it's not, you together find out it's not just your task. And then usko paisa pan cha, and then you tell him, because he's an investor because he's done good in some other businesses. So you ask him for advice, and it's just a baira. So what do you suggest? And it's not growing. I'm having a lot of difficulty, and then they give you technical advice, or they give you all kinds of help that they can network anything. For example, Doma has been such a good help. I cannot name the person, but the person that they connected with me with is one of about e-commerce pioneers elsewhere, okay? So he's created like, I think, $15 billion company.
Wow.
Yeah, in e-commerce. So and usko e-commerce ko level cha ni everything is automated, everything is done by robots. So unharko त्यो scale ma like पुगिसक्यो, which will take us years and years, So whenever I have something in doubt about कुनै ठुलो technology ल्याउनु छ or कुनै के change गर्नु छ in teams पनि भने, I always write him an email, like, I'm planning to do this, what do you think?
Always bounce off your hand.
Yeah. And
I have that relation with my investor, which is like, if I ask my dad, he was also a business person. He doesn't have a lot of words to say to me. He's like, tax time matir, bias time matir, that kind of thing my dad will tell me. But just like we were saying, is I'm struggling with this, I have a dilemma, your situation, just as a father figure, as somebody that is older than you, as a mentor, he just doesn't write the check. He also has advice for me. And normally what I've also seen with my investor is, instead of pointing me to a particular direction, he will give me like the pros and cons of both, like leaving me to decide. That way, I think last 2 years the learning curve is more like dame bhayo. And like you were finishing off with Dolmaga.
Like teach a man how to fish, not just...
Yeah, I think that's his theory there. Is he'll give me the both ends of the spectrum. Like if when I did this happened and this, so I get a sort of like a hint, only a nudge, but not the clear decision. Oh, त अहिले यही गर्नुपर्छ. So I think that's the case. The curiosity पनि youngstersमा मैले देख्ने चाहिँ त्यही हो कि what is it like to work? They have that, हुन्छ नि, त्यो त पुरै boardroom, they have this imagination of like suit. I think I also have that same kind of a relation where we call it long emails. So if it's been a while since I haven't written, means things are smooth. When there is a time where I'm struggling, then I normally start by saying this one's going to be a long one because I need your advice on A, B, C. त्यसरी म सोचेर ड्राफ्ट गरेर अनि पठाउँछु. I think it's just a mentor role पनि हो छ, especially being in Nepal and यहाँ त्यस्तो ठुलो स्केलदेखिको बिजनेसेसहरू पनि छैन. So just having that perspective, as in because they think big. So just rubbing off just shoulders with them and just the exposure I got through the investor, मलाई just after he made an investment pledge with us, he took me to like 200-year-old coffee company. And 200 वर्ष पुरानो कफी कम्पनी कस्तो हुँदो रहेछ त. यो Utrecht भन्ने ठाउँ Amsterdamबाट about an hour or two. They're in the Netherlands. Yeah, they've been trading coffee since 1804 or something. They were doing this through ships. So I just मेरो दिमागमा के आयो, we're just at the tip of this iceberg. Okay? There's so much else we can think, and उनीहरूको त 300 वर्षको इतिहास छ बिजनेसको. So मैले just त्यो exposure पनि पाएँ, and I think his idea was also to kind of throw me into these things so that like I can think big. Exactly. And he's always or any investor also always can challenge you also. Okay, like we think our assumptions are correct and हामीले सोचेको कुरा correct होला, and sometimes if you throw those ideas to them, then they'll challenge you.
There's a good pressure. A lot of times people think it's free money. It's not free money. And if somebody else is investing on you, you feel more pressure. Okay, it's not your money. After paisa, imagine like you're borrowing somebody else's product, and you feel responsibility.
People talk to me like they feel like I've hit the lottery. Especially after I've heard a few, and then some will come and ask you for money as well. Like you could just belt out money, and so most of the misconceptions it's a money that you get with a lot of responsibility.
Yeah. Spider-Man to die.
It just doesn't come free. There comes a lot of other things, and any investor would be watching how you treat that money, how you use that money. I think that success from round 1 funding showed the round 2 investor.
Definitely. And it's all, I mean, for an entrepreneur, it's all reputation is everything, you know. I mean, you feel very responsible, you execute accordingly. If you're careless, it's a small country, and people will figure it out, you know. They're like,
the house of card comes down.
Exactly. You know? So you have to be very responsible, you have to be on top of your game all the time, and there's always good pressure. All the investors are big ones, you know. So there's good pressure from both of the sides, and it also teaches me how to handle them both. So there's a local big investor, there's a local, FDI big investor. And like दुवैजनालाई एउटै boardroomमा लिएर आउने, and then to align them together, you know, like when Dogma just came in, there was some kind of misalignment. Obviously, e-commerce is a different business, so I really had to spend some time aligning them and the other investor, and this is what we're going to do. And usually they don't say no. So if you're the CEO and the founder and you want to do something and you believe in that, you're in the driving seat. You cannot let a VC be in the driving seat, you know. And that's what even VCs do wrong. Okay, VCs feel they try to step in. That's the kind of VC you want to run away from. You know, you don't want to get into that. Yeah, so you have to be very careful. And VCs are VCs, and at the end of the day, so they have to make an exit, because they have paisa, it's somebody else's paisa that they're managing, you know. So they have the responsibility to give it back to them, you know, with certain.
We also have to understand that.
Yeah, And if they're going to make an exit like 5 years, 7 years, whatever is your term period, and you have to be responsible. Keep 5 years, man, you're going to give them the money back, you know. So त्यो सबै pressure छ, and there's this good pressure. So it's fun. It's very daunting at this, challenging at the same time.
And you grow personally as well, like you said.
Yeah, I mean, पहिला जस्तो जुन 2013 मा थियो एलिसमा गएर दिनभरि कफी खाएर या साउजी सिड्रुम आई क्यानट डु द्याट एनिमोर.
त्यो चाहिँ धेरै बिजनेसेसमा मैले यहाँ नेपालमा देखेको चाहिँ like I can see how that idea can be easily scaled, but I just see that person not even motivated to pursue it. मलाई पनि त्यसले छोइसकेको थियो र अलिकति कोहीले आएर झकझकाइदिएर च्यालेन्ज गरिदिएर अथवा अहिले आई थिङ्क फ्यु रोल मोडल्स आर कमिङ आउट होइन. अनि द यङ्स्टर्स आर लुकिङ अप टु दिस कम्पनीज. म एक्चुली हामी किङ्स कलेज जाँदाखेरि चाहिँ कति गुगल र ऊ पढाउने, अब सस्तोडिलको केस स्टडिज पढाउनु पऱ्यो, रेडमडको पढाउनु पऱ्यो, बिकज टुमोरो दे आर गोना कम आउट इन द मार्केट एन्ड डु सिमिलर थिङ्स हाउ वी डिड. सो म पनि एउटा दुईवटा MBA फाइनेन्सको क्लासमा गएर कुरा गरिरहेको छु स्टार्टअप फन्डिङको बारेमा. आई थिङ्क द टिचर्स आर अल्सो लुकिङ एट दिस डिफरेन्टली, एटलिस्ट सम यङ वान्स.
So scaling up ma few भनेर. So scaling up ma अब I see a lot of about this is where a lot of companies fail scaling up. It's very easy to start and start going like Sara. So scale go there, a lot of people struggle because the foundation they're not building, and this is something I realized as I experimented a lot. You know, the foundation in a sense can about, for example, the platform you're building about whenever you're doing something very manually. You know, for example, I'll take a very popular example, Facebook bought orders taking, you know. So there's a lot of Facebook pages and any business got us and they're taking orders through Facebook, this and that, you know. So I always ask them whenever I meet such page owners, I always ask them, "Aile kati order dinma 50, you know? What if dinma 5,000 can you take orders through Facebook 5,000? Like how many people are you going to employ, you know? And what to do then? Then build a website, you automate things, you scale things, and 50,000 order you can scale, you know. So scaling up much in like when you're starting out, build SLAs भनेको the protocols यति भन्दा डिले भयो भने के हुन्छ, the red flagsहरू कहाँ राख्ने, build your team towards automation and scaling up so that सानै हुन्छ नि थोरै orders आउँदैमा सानो business हुँदैमा you prepared to do business worth millions and millions of dollars हैन. So त्यो अहिलेदेखि prepare छ भने there's no one that can stop you from scaling. तर त्यो नै prepare छ भने by the time you get big, and then you have to again come back and then start small again and then re-engineer. Yeah, and
I think हामीले पनि यो गएको 2 वर्ष त we've spent in that. First it was for us because we have so many ingredients that come into making a different product, just the software part of it, getting the reports right, because restaurant business कस्तो हुन्छ, we have very small margin in certain things. So if we don't nail what we're doing, then we're losing money. So just to sort all those things out, understand the process, streamline the supply chain, अमनले भने जस्तै कि just त्यो दुईटा स्टोर खोलेर ग्रो भयो भन्ने चाहिँ is not the thing. I think the post opening of the store that I spent last 1.5 2 years learning this, re-engineering this, trying to reshuffle the team, use things differently. Now after almost 7 years we feel like, okay, now if we put gasoline on this we can actually scale. I have the team, I have the infrastructure, I have the associates that I need to build up stores. So all those are aligned and automated in some ways. So I'm also actually waiting for a round 2 fund to keep things moving forward. Anything else you want to add?
So maybe to young entrepreneurs, Nepal desperately needs entrepreneurs. I think for us to even match financial plans, a government plan, and a lot of, like, I really want the market to understand कि जुन पैसाले government चल रहा है, जुन पैसाले देश चल रहा है, it's actually coming out from businesses.
Exactly. I always say we are owners of this country.
Because businesses are paying tax, other than personal tax and all that, businesses are paying tax, and your tax by the government is running the system. And अहिले financial planning $3 billion a year. So it has to come from private businesses to even match. It's not going to happen. So maybe it's not going to happen today, but 5 years down the line, it will happen. As long as there's plenty of businesses in Nepal. So, and a good trend I'm seeing is a lot of people outside Nepal, they've gone for studies and they're coming back because they're seeing examples. And so we need more and more examples. when you and I, when we were in the US,
purpose is also the same.
yeah. So imagine when we were in the US and we had to come back and your parents were asking us like,
One thing I wanted to add is, मसँग पनि 50,000 मात्रै थियो when I started. Exactly when you were saying that, I was like, मसँग पनि ठ्याक्कै 50,000 थियो ब्याङ्कमा. So I think money is not the issue, like Amun is saying. If we can do it, you can do it as well.
we need a lot of examples.
Exactly. How many people are Sastodeal employ गरेको?
We've got 65 really.
Just between two of us, just because we started this idea, we've created 150 jobs. So if we multiply this number by, let's say, few hundred, few thousand, then all these people that are gonna at least sometime come back to Nepal as well.
When we're gonna be successful is when I see a lot of Nepalis whenever I go to Boston, MIT grad and Harvard grad, they're working for Microsoft, Facebook, Google in top level positions. I know one of my cousin grad from MIT.
IBM
Yeah.
and big companies.
And there's this Nepali girl who's heading YouTube quiz search.
Okay.
And I cannot obviously disclose that. So two months here.
Talent
Exactly.
They get the right platform.
Yeah. So imagine when they come back and work for a startup here and get equally paid. And then obviously they're not going to come back because who's going to pay them here?
Exactly.
So the moment we started paying them that kind of amount, they can come back. They can obviously come. They want to be in the homeland, close to their parents. So we're going to do that. And so in the next 5 years, we're going to create companies that's going to make sure these Ivy League people, they're going to come back. And
something to look.
and everybody's going to come back. And then we're going to build a beautiful nation.
So you're positive just like me. Mopani, I see Nepal moving forward. Maybe shaky way because we've just gone through such a long political transformation. Finally, we've come here. It's a bit shaky right now, but just because it's shaky doesn't mean it's doesn't have a platform.
I mean, exactly thousand. So what it means is you're not going to be a good sailor unless you sail in a rough, So smooth sea ma gaira
You can be entrepreneur in Nepal. And imagine what you can do globally. The amount of challenges my Dutch friends or something. Anything you do, just do it times 10. It's more difficult here. Finding fund times 10 more difficult. Infrastructure times 10. The amount of time. Just imagine if Nepal tomorrow has the trains and the rails and the roads. And national you can. The day would be, I think Amun would be successful and the idea of Nepali entrepreneurship would be successful when Amunko website bought somebody living in Dodeldura or somewhere far east, far west can order something and get it delivered to their house.
That's starting to happen, and I feel so happy whenever someone from outside Kathmandu they order. Usually you typically solo kumbu bata chani yo lok seva ko kitabharu order garcha ki ani I feel so happy ki unaharuko tyo jun lok seva is for some exams, right? So tyo exam ko लागि yahabata book त्यहाँ पाउँदैन होला त yahabata order garcha and they're getting it without even coming to Kathmandu. So I feel so happy for that.
That's a big sign of change. That's a big sign of change. Also हामीले यहाँ के भनेको छ हामी सम्भावनाका कुरा गर्छौँ भनेको छ हाम्रो साइडमा कि त्यो एउटा कत्रो सम्भावना हो भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ एउटा उदाहरण हो कि लेट्स से मोर एयरपोर्ट्स मोर इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चर हुन साथै यो त कनेक्टेड हुने नै छ इभेन्चुअली गएर आई थिङ्क हाम्रो टेक्नोलोजिकल त आई थिङ्क लाइक यु डिस्क्राइब फ्रम 10 to 65 भइसकेको छ भने जस्ट अ म्याटर अफ टाइम टिल द्याट नम्बर इज स्याचुरेटेड एट सम पोइन्ट भन्छु म. So we both see Nepal positively. We both see hope. We both are trying to grow a company. Exactly. Early 65 छ अमुनको उसको पनि पछाडि number of employees created मा zeros थपिँदै जाओस्. Bank account पनि थपिँदै जाओस् हैन. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you.